hit it. We'll just see what happens. Alright, we're live. Yep, stream is up and running. You're good to go. Alright, I'm gonna jump up and find out where the rest of the missing guys are.
Okay.
Alright, thanks.
Hello everybody and welcome to Nowski versus TDR here in Richmond, Virginia. Tonight we bring up the best of TDR against the best of the Nowski Nation boys. Tonight we have Brian McCann, Patrick Gitter, Dean Webb, Jeremy Edwards, Jason Rickert, Kenny Hyde, Justin Swafford, Robert Brill, Otto Kraus, Kevin McCann, Chris Lockwood, Charles Joplin, Jordan Sims, Kevin Brunheimer. So roll through the field, as you can see, Yo4 gets into the 58 there and goes around and starting off really getting into it tonight. So what we like to do is bring to you a few little highlights here. Or not highlights, but we're going to bring in some of our sponsors for the evening. Just bear with me here. I'm the only one up here in the booth tonight. So we welcome from McConey Setup Shops. Their setups, your victories. Go visit Jeff McConey at McConeySetupShops.com. He'll be happy to bring all of your needs for iRacing setups. Next up is B&B Wraps. B&B Wraps, from coffee cups to semi trucks, for all your wrapping needs. B&B setup or B&B Wraps. And last but not least is our Sunny South Raceway Victory Lane sponsor, Sunny South Raceway in Grand Bay, Alabama. Go visit our buddy Nani Mixon down there. He'll be more than happy to take care of you while you're down there. Mention you came from the TDR Pudnowski, and he'll be happy to help you and show you a good time down there. So we thank Sunny South Raceway Victory Lane for being our title sponsor for our Victory Lane celebrations tonight. As we roll through, we got 11 minutes left of practice here to go, so we're going to roll through here. As you see the number 58 there of Kenny Hyde Jr. rolling around, getting his laps in. Everybody's getting their practice set up tonight. It's going to be tough for me up here in the booth, but I'm going to try and get through it for you here. I don't have anybody to join me or to bounce things off of, so I'm sorry if it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll get through it. So, yeah. There's Robert Brill's car sitting on pit lane this evening. So tonight we're being brought to you. Well, hello, Robert and Pete. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to need all the help I can get out there in YouTube land tonight. Kind of bouncing off each other here a little bit. I do apologize for the video this evening. We're not able to get all of the videos out there tonight. I was having some issues with the video card, but trying to bring you the best quality that I can for you tonight. So thank you, Robert. It is going to be a wild night, and as during our last event, Nowski pulled up in the points. So they gained about 94 points. I know that TDR had about just over 100 points, but now it's back to within, I believe, 10 or so. So rolling through and watching these guys practice. See a lot of the Nowski boys up there in the white, and our TDR boys are out there in the black cars this evening. Here's the 03 car, Auto Cruise. Auto Cruise is one of the stars of Nowski Nation. As they get together there, number 79 and Auto Cruise get together during practice, so that ought to be a very interesting take on what we got there. That was Thomas Rule. So Thomas Rule and Auto Cruise get into it doing a little bit of practice. So that's going to be tight, fun, close racing. That's for sure. Everybody's getting a little bit loose. So we got the 15 car right there. That's Dustin Valdez taking his few laps out there, just trying to get everything situated and out front. And he's driving number 15 tonight. Normally we see him in the 23, but tonight he's driving the 15 car, so he'll be out there giving you some action from where we have, not sure where he's out on the speed chart right now, but we'll figure it out. Hey, right now he's in 28, so he's in last spot on the speed chart there. You see the 07 car coming up, and that would be Matthew Hughes, and that is Pudge Nowski himself. So Pudge is in the 07 car out there, getting underneath Dustin and just working his way around. But it has been a very interesting series so far between these guys. It's been clean at times. It's been not so clean at times. There have been some chances that have been taken by a few guys out there. So it's going to be one of those nights where we're going to see what they brought to the track tonight. But this is Xfinity car in Richmond, so these cars are drivable. They do get loose. Xfinities are a little bit looser, but they're also a bit more fun to drive. They do keep you on your toes. So as we watch the 58 car of Kenny Hyde Jr., he's just out there rolling around with his with Pudge Nowski and getting around this place. You can see him put it right there on the bottom and come right around, take it to the top, and then zoom it back down onto the. So it's kind of bottom top. That's one good way to get around here. So you roll through and try and get a couple of these. Looks like you're looking at all Nowski here, and there's a 04 of Chuck McDonald. Saw him a little bit earlier get a little bit loose in the session. So we got about 6 minutes left to practice, and this is always like the worst part, is just getting through practices and really not sure what everybody's got and where they're at, because they're actually pushing it a lot harder than they will in the race. Gonna take it down, and as you see, there's a whole bunch of cars out there that are just sideways, up. Some of them get upside down, but they do have the reset here, so come in and get their resets. And there's the 89 car, Charles Joplin for Nowski Nation, finding his way around here. Jeremy Edwards in the 17 car, sitting on pit road, just getting his last minute adjustments done for the race. There's a couple of TDR boys for you. There's number 18 of Brian McCann. And there's his brother Kevin, as those two get into each other and they spin down the backstretch. So it's going to be very interesting tonight to see exactly what these guys bring to the table. Like I said, Charlotte race kind of ended up in a stir. We had the Bristol race that ended up in a stir. But then we had Talladega, which was the guys worked really well together. And then we had the road race, which, everybody got around each other, and that was kind of a good night. So you have good nights, bad nights, but tonight should be You're definitely going to get into each other. It is a smaller type of track. It is a track that's designed to bring closer racing action. So hopefully we can definitely get somebody some of the action going here. And there's Dean Webb in the number 7 car for Nowski Nation. So you got the 07 and the 7. And there's Jason Ricker for Team TDR, and there's that black TDR Racing Camaro. He's got about 4 minutes left to practice here tonight. There's Bryant DeYoung. Good to see him out there. Getting a few laps. A lot of these guys, like I said, they're Nowski Nation, has the same values as TDR. Everybody's clean, fast, and have fun. So bringing these two teams together and creating this series has been a fun little call, and I'm sure the guys will enjoy it. We watch Brian McCann coming back out in the 18. Get a look at a little bit of the inside on the roll bar camera here as it drives it down. Going to hit that gas, take it down the back stretch here. And that's kind of a flat. I'm going to go into a flatter turn. In the turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Back to the start-finish line. Here, rev that engine up and just let off of it. Slowly step on the gas as the 47 gets around right in front of them. So that's what these guys are going to be dealing with all night, trying to get around everybody. That was Jordan Sims who got in front of him. He's just easy hit the reset. You're back on pit road. Hit it. And then out the back we go. So we ride around with Auto Cruise, and Auto right now is sitting in 10th. It's like he's going to try and come down to pit road or just stop on the back stretch, hit the reset button. Go David Oliver in 28 car. As Brian McCann gets around him, so you see Oliver just taking it down. And if you notice on the hood shot there, you see their names that they have. They have Brian Oliver, or Oliver on for the 28 there on the right hand side of the car, right above the driver. So keep track of your favorite driver tonight out there as they're getting around here. And there's Jeff McConey himself is out here tonight in the number 30 machine. So he's finding his way around here. Jeremy Edwards in the 17 truck. Take a ride with Matt around here. Takes that down on turn number 1. Can see how he's getting around. So what do you think? Who do you think is going to take it tonight? Is it going to be one of the Nowski boys coming back and taking the points lead? I'm sorry, I do not have anything on the points, but who do you think it's going to be tonight? It's going to be Nowski or TDR that's going to take it tonight? It's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. Going to try and call the action as much as I can for you from up here in the booth. As PJ Cox gets around in the 05. So it's going to be definitely a night where we're going to have to watch out for spins and thrills and chills, and the checkered flag falls on the practice. So we're going to get ready to go here to the qualifying section. It's definitely hard to hold yourself up here and have a conversation for a while these guys are not doing anything. But Richmond International Raceway is located in Richmond, Virginia. So if you're ever in Richmond, go ahead and check them out. So you take a look at our flag man there. Let's see if we can call somebody up here and join me for a few minutes just to get them to talk to them. Everybody's kind of busy in the race chat right now, so we'll let them go as they're getting their qualifying sessions in. And there's Robert Brill taking his lap. So as he brings it down, and Kevin Bernheimer is taking his lap now. A lot of guys just trying to finish up. Brad Hunt, what's up, TDR? Let's go, Nowski Nation. And Janelle chimes in. Good evening, Janelle. How are you? Go Team TDR. I'm sorry you're not feeling so well. I could have used somebody to talk to up here. It's kind of hard to talk to all the voices in my head, but I'm going to try and work with them together and try and get this all done and set out. So good luck to you. I'm sure you're cheering for your husband out there tonight, Mr. Dustin. So absolutely. Yep, we got one. Patrick Gitters ended up back in the fence, but sure he ended up taking a lap or just got in there. So it looks like I got 2 minutes left, 25 of the 27 drivers. So it looks like we're about ready to line up here. Patrick Gitter gets on the pole, looks like, with a 22:39. And everybody looked under a second. So it's going to be a second back to... So it's going to be a very close field. These guys are pretty close in speed, so it's going to be some close, tight racing today. So, TDR can possibly regain the lead with this and then pull out to a points championship here with only a couple races left in this season as we wrap this season number 2 up for TDR versus Nowski Nation. So rolling up, we got a bunch of stuff coming up in both TDR and in real life. iRacing, if you go to iRacing.com and sign up, they are actually having Roars this weekend. Everybody's looking forward to that. Next week, they're doing the actual 24 hours of Daytona, where you can run 24 hours. It's a team of 4, so that ought to be very interesting. Not sure if we're going to be broadcasting any of that, but maybe checking in on a few of our drivers from TDR. And see where they stand and see how they hang up against the everybody else in iRacing as they actually run around to do that. So, well, that's good. I'm glad you're feeling a little better, Janelle. It always helps. So qualifying just about ready to wrap up here. So I won't be so much alone here in a little bit as these guys get rolling and we get lined up and the action starts going. It's always for trying to fill that in between section. So let me know if I'm a little bit too loud out there, guys. I'll turn down my mic a little bit. I know last broadcast I was a little bit too soft, so I want to make sure everybody can hear me out there. I'm not screaming. You don't have to turn your volumes all the way up to 100 just to hear any of the action. So we're wrapping this up. And qualifying is over, so it is official. On the pole, we got Patrick Gitter in the 21 machine. Robert Brill lines up second. Kenny Hyde Jr. third. Kevin McCann fourth. Otto Cruz fifth. David Oliver is in sixth. Charles Joplin seventh. Jason Ricker eighth. Chris Lockwood ninth. Kevin Bernheimer in 10th. Matthew Hooch, Pujanowski himself in 11th. Dean Webb 12th. Justin Swafford 13th. Thomas Rule in 14th, Eric Steele 15th, PJ Cox 16th. As we see them lining up on the inside here. Bryant DeYoung 17th, Shanna Harton 18th, Jeremy Edwards 19th. This thing is really rolling through a lot quicker than I was expecting. Jordan Sims rounds out our 20th spot. 21st, David Tremblay, Eric Sellers, Jeffrey Sheldon, Blair Patterson, Chuck McDonald. And let's see if we can get ourselves here. So here's a look at our front row. Patrick Gitter and Robert Brill. As we get ready to take the green flag here. Eric Heron, Dustin Valdez, and Brian McCann, Jeffrey McConey. And the last guy on the field is the Brian Oshel. So we got cars rolling off down in turn one as they get lined up. Looks like a bunch of Nowski Nation boys are on the front two rows there. As you're looking at Patrick Gitter, Robert Brill, and Kenny Hyde Jr. in that. Round out the top three, and then you have the first TDR guy of Kevin McCann, and then it's back to Nowski of Otto Cruz, David Oliver, who is also Nowski Nation. Charles Joplin is also, I believe Joplin is, yep, Charles Joplin is a Nowski Nation boy. And then you got Jason Ricker. So you got one lap to green. Pace car got the lights off. We're getting ready to dive down on pit road. Let's see. Oh, I thought it was going to dive down. It looks like it's going to stay out. Coming out of turn number 1, 2 down the back stretch. So to get to turn 3, it's going to jump down. And we'll get this event underway. Thank you, Janelle, for confirming. As we're underway, lap 1 of 90. So Patrick Gitter and Robert Brill jump out to maintain that front spot there as they go 2 wide going down in the turn number 1 and 2. As you get a bigger picture here from the top of the grandstand, you can see Kevin McCann there on the inside in that 42 machine, starting to make a little bit of a move, trying to get up in that 3rd spot. Come down for a lap. No, oh, we got a spin. Kevin McCann gets around. Kevin McCann got dumped. It looked like yellow is out. So lap 2. So let's see what happened here. Let's see if we can get. Ooh. It's like the Eric Sellers machine that's got turned around there. It's like he got a little bit in the back. So yeah, it looks like a couple boys got turned around there. So we roll back around. Well, that wasn't good. Kind of put a couple of our guys on the pit road a little bit early, but it looks like just product of racing getting involved. And it's got Nowski Nation boys 1, 2, 3. Gitter, Brill, and Kenny Hyde Jr. there in the 58 machine. The first car looks like we have David Oliver. So David Oliver is the first TDR guy. So we're working lap 4 under caution here. So we roll through. We got Patrick Gitter, Robert Brill, Kenny Hyde Jr., David Oliver, Charles Joplin, Kevin Bernheimer, Jason Ricker, Chris Lockwood, Pudge-Nowski in 9th, and Thomas Rule in 10th. There's a 42 machine coming down, and Chuck McDonald also looked like he got involved. So there's 2 TDR guys that are coming out of pit road. Going to rejoin the field. And I apologize for any delay. I'm just looking for different stuff here. I'm sorry. So as we roll around, it looks like go back to, there's Chuck McDonald. He's back in the pack now after taking his service there. He's a TDR guy. They got 2 different schemes looks like going on here for TDR. So you got the black machine of Kevin McCann. Going through it. Then you got the 96 of David Trumbull, who's got the white and the black. So they got a couple of schemes going on here, and Nowski's more or less under the same umbrella. They have all the same paint schemes. So guess look for the white doors. That's going to be your Nowski, and the black cars. They kind of look like the Little Caesars cars, that Nowski Nation cars is what they're painted up to be tonight. Working lap 6 as we got the pace car, got the lights off. We're going to go green next time by. So now I got Patrick Gitter and Robert Brill didn't really exchange too much, but you got the 28 car who's coming up through the field. So that's David Oliver. David Oliver is the first TDR guy there, and he's surrounded by Nowski Nation cars. But then you got Jason Ricker also in the back, who's got his car up there. And so you go, looks like 3-5, kind of a mixture going on all the way through the field. So it's not total domination yet. It looks like some of these guys are actually getting up in and giving it a little bit of a go here. So back under green. And there's Patrick Gitter takes out a little bit of a jump there. Now it does not count if these boys pass each other. It matters points as a team. So passing each other isn't going to do any bit of good, but passing your teammate to get past another guy, that's where it's all going to play out. Let's get a wide shot of the field here so you can see what's going on as they roar down in turn number 1. Seems like you got more of an action back here. People just run into each other in the back there. So you got the 28 car, David Oliver. He's kind of getting involved there, going side by side with the 58 car of Kenny Hyde Jr. And that's the first battle for TDR Nowski in that upper spot there, battling for 3rd spot. Looks like Kenny's going to grab that position. As David Oliver goes a little bit high and gives it up to him. So now they're going to sort it out just a little bit. And David's going to fall back, but not by much. So let's see how they play that one out. So back up front with Patrick Gitter's got a good half-second lead over Robert Brill as they knock off lap 11 of 90 here. Now there will be pit stops. I'm quite sure 90 laps they could probably go on 1 stop if they really wanted to stretch the limit, but tires I'm sure will be a premium here. I'm sure they will wear out because it is a short track. You're getting a lot of grip going into those corners, so you're scrubbing a lot of that grip level off, and they will get looser as time goes on. As we saw in practice, everybody was sliding all over the place, and that might be a product of just running these longer runs. So I'd say probably 1, if you're going to really stretch it out and be easy on your equipment. One stop, two, I would say would probably be more like the average of what we're going to see tonight for pit stops. So things start to roll through the field here. Gitter's getting a good jump on that field as we're coming up on lap car. See some people out here. So Eric Sellers, Anthony Karen, and Blair, or Jeff McConey are all out of the race. Shanna Harton, Dustin, and Chuck McDonald are out. There's a lot of guys that are out. So I'm not sure what's going on down there, but a lot of people are out of the race right now. Well, it's at least it's showing on the scoreboard that they're out, but there's Blair right there, so he's back out. Must be my scoring timer, so I'm sorry about that. So there's Robert Brill. He's in our second spot right now, still holding off. Kenny Hyde Jr. There's Kenny, or in that 58 machine. And looking back to the fourth place car of the first TDR, David Oliver. He's about 1.5 second behind the leader right now. And the next car in line is Charles Joplin in the 89 machine. He's holding it down. That's about 3 seconds behind the leader right now. As you take a look at Ricker as well. Ricker's the next TDR gentleman that we have out there rolling around. And looks like he's going to get pressured a little bit here from the 84 machine. Kind of settle back in line, but then you got the 17 car coming up as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a pressure situation going on for those two here. If I can find them. Chris Lockwood. So that's Chris Lockwood right there. We saw in that last shot he's getting a little bit of pressure from Jeremy. So Jeremy and Chris Lockwood now were battling a few moments ago. He's going to make that run again. Is he just going to let it go back? So nope, looks like Chris Lockwood's going to pull out to about a two car length lead, maybe 1.5 car length lead over there. Good little battle going on back there for 7th and 8th position. So we got a battle back here for our 9th and 10th spot. So you got Brian McCann in the 18 machine, just took over from Kevin Brunheimer. And we see another couple of cars coming up through the field there, the 03 car. Suppose you're just racing it around, and you got Pudjanowski right behind them. So you got Matt Hughes, Pudjanowski, these three are racing for position and each other at the present moment, but it doesn't matter because they all locked up that position, so I'm not sure why they're getting too involved with anything. And there's 03 of Otto Cruz. Otto Cruz is getting around now. Kevin Bernheimer, so you're just looking at. And then there's the 07 of Matthew Pudjanowski, and he's got some damage on the back of his car. So as we look at these guys going at it here, as Hughes is going around, it looks like a car got out on the outside. It might have been the lap car that we saw a little bit earlier that the leaders were passing. They're riding around with Matthew Hughes a couple laps here. See what he sees, and looks like they're getting a little bit of racy up front. We're with Jeremy Edwards. And he was the one that was battling with Lockwood earlier. As you see Brian McCann coming up. So Brian McCann in that 18 machine is starting to gain a position. So now Brian up to 9th. So he's right there battling with these gentlemen right here. Jeremy, Chris Lockwood, Brian McCann. The 89 machine. Oh, Charles Joplin right there. And Brian's got his car kind of hooked up. Look, he's going to go to the bottom here. So we'll stay here and watch this battle for ninth at the moment. Seems to be about the best battle in between these guys, Lockwood, Jeremy Edwards, and Brian McCann. As there you see, Jeremy Edwards is going to get up on the underside there of Chris Lockwood. Brian's going to take it 3 wide. He takes it down on the bottom. He's going to slide back up. Gets it back in line. No harm, no foul there. Just going to lose a little bit of ground. Falls to about 3 car lengths as they come back across start finish line. Complete lap 27 to 90. Lockwood's going to go high, and it's going to open up the bottom there for Jeremy, and Brian McCann's going to try and close that gap again. Jeremy gets loose coming off of that turn and points it down to the bottom. Brian's going to try and get past Lockwood now. It's going to be a race now back from between Jeremy and Brian McCann back down to the start-finish line, and Jeremy Edwards has got just a car length above, but Brian's going to shoot back down on the bottom, take that 2 wide along the back stretch here. He's going to press it up that issue. So we saw Jeremy got loose a little bit of time, a couple of times coming off of that turn number 2, but he keeps it in a straight line. Brian's going to come back underneath, just gets to the very inside of him, and it's Brian McCann at the line just by a nose over Jeremy. Good racing going on right here. This is for the 6th and 7th position as Brian McCann now takes over 6. He's got the car, so Jeremy's pushing him, not letting him get that run on the outside. But now Brian McCann gets up underneath. He's going to slide up, do that slide job, and then that's going to give that back to Jeremy and Chris. But he's not letting it go easy. Jeremy's pushing that issue. Going to dive down on the bottom. Brian leaves that bottom open. Oh, slams the door as they go into the between turn 1 and 2. Comes back up. So Brian's really pushing that issue, trying to move forward. As Lockwood now gains back up position. So Lockwood's going to pull right within a car length and a half. As Brian McCann starts to pull away from Jeremy, and Chris Lockwood is right there. He's going to press the issue. Try and get that position back from Jeremy that he gave up. So if he can get around that, that's going to put Chris back up to 7th, right behind his teammate Brian. But Jeremy's not giving it up easy. And then right behind them, you got Otto Cruz is just looking for anything that'll happen, and coming up lap 32. So we're getting about a third of the way through, just over a third of the way through the race. These guys are getting a little bit racy back here, but kind of sorting it out as we take a look back up at our leader now that these guys got it sorted out. Patrick Gitter rolls around the number 24 machine of Shanna Harton, puts her a lap down. She's the first one a lap down now, so if something were to happen now, she would get that lucky dog spot. Coming up on the number 42 machine now, we're going to put Emma Lab down. And I believe the 42, if I'm not mistaken, that might be Kevin McCann. So McCann is in danger of going a lap down at the present moment, but he also is missing the back half of his car from that earlier spin, so that would explain why he's not doing too well in performance, because you kind of need a little bit of that back spoiler. Does not look like he has too much. As Patrick Gitter is going to get around, but not giving up easy. So Kevin's not giving up that spot easy. He's going to fight Patrick Gitter for all that he can right now, going down in turn 1. And Gitter's just being very, very cautious here, getting around this lap traffic. It's the last thing he wants to see is any caution. His 86 machine gets really high, just letting those guys go by. Oh, Kevin McCann makes a run back down. He is not wanting to go a lap down. He is fighting. If that's a fight, I don't know what is. You think there was a fight for the lead, but he's actually fighting to stay on the lead lap at this present moment. So, not sure why he's missing his back bumper. He should have it back. I mean, maybe not. Did not take his quick repair. Maybe just tested the waters to see. He didn't think it was that bad, but pulling. Now we got Patrick Gitter is pulling away. As you got the number 1 machine, now he's going to fight back with Kevin to try and put him a lap down. And we got somebody pulling down in the pit road. I believe that is the Jordan Sims. Jordan Sims is 1 lap down. And so looks like going to be the start of our green flag pit stops here. Lap 38, which is a good indication that some of these guys will go 2 laps. Or 2 pit stops, I'm sorry, 2 pit stops. Bounce back up front and see Patrick Gitter pulls out. He's got himself a good little lead over Robert right now, but Robert was just battling with Kevin McCann to put him a lap down. So McCann's just really hanging it out there. So as we can see, there's a gap to the next TDR guy that's going to be in danger of going a lap down at lap 39. So we're almost halfway home. One caution in the race, which happened earlier when it looked like Kevin McCann got spun. Eric Sellers was involved in that, we saw. So number 21 machine, Patrick Gitter. So you got Nowski, and then we've got Kenny Hyde, Brian McCann, Jason Ricker are all. So, Hyde, that's a Nowski boy. And then we got TDR, David Oliver, and the 28 is, I believe, also, I should know this by now, but he is in a TDR machine as he was battling with Edwards. As we're back to Edwards, seems to be in a little bit of action tonight. He's the one that's being racy around all these TDR guys. And you see Ricker and David Oliver and Jeremy Edwards. That's 5th, 6th. And Brian McCann's making his way through the field in that 18 machine. So we saw him battle up there earlier in the run. Now here he is getting around number 58 machine. So right now Brian McCann is showing in 4th position. So as he gets around Kenny Hyde Jr., that's going to be for 3rd spot. So Brian McCann is making his way to the front. You see the number 15 machine outside, and that's Dustin Valdez, who goes a lap down now. He's a 24. He's the first car a lap down. So we're almost halfway through in 2 more laps. Gitter's going to put us at the halfway mark. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be too long after that we're going to start to see some green flag pit stops. As now you see right there, Brill gets underneath of Gitter and takes the lead, but it looks like he's on the top side there behind that 32 machine. And that would be Eric Steele. So Eric Steele is kind of holding up these guys. And that's allowing Brian McCann right there. As you see, he's coming right up through there, and he's going to press for the lead. So now we got a 3-way battle for the lead coming up. As there's Robert Brill who's holding that top spot, but then you got Brian McCann who's made a very nice clean run through the field up to that 2nd position. So that's going to be a battle that we're probably going to see here in the next few laps. At 45, officially halfway this time by. So 45 down, 45 to go at this present moment. There's a halfway sign from our flagman as Brian McCann is starting to press for that lead. So it's going to be a matter of who goes to pit road, who goes in clean, who comes out clean, because it's going to be tight. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch these guys as they go through and get their green flag pit stops. As you see, Chuck McDonald slows down Brian McCann just a little bit, but he's just trying to stay out of the way, just trying to stay at the stop sign. But Robert Brill is just taking it in between, just trying to break anybody's momentum. As you see the number 97 of Eric Sellers there go a lap down now. That's 21 cars a lap down. Or 20 or so on the lead lap. So, and it looked like Brill just touched the wall coming out of turn number 2. So Brian McCann is now going to take over the top spot for TDR. So we have a new leader at lap 46, 47, 43 to go. Brian McCann drives from where we saw him take over in 10th spot all the way up to 1st. So that's been one heck of a drive for Brian to take over that top spot. And he did it without hitting anybody. He got around him cleanly. So that was some good racing. So coming up, putting David Trumbley a lap down. And 42 to go. Wonder how long they're going to last out there on that. With fuel and tires, I mean, we saw Brill kind of slide up a little bit. A few of these guys, I'm sure, their machines have got to be feeling a little bit skatey at this point out there. It's like things have kind of evened out as Brian now just takes a spot over Robert Brill in that second spot. So you got the third car. It was Patrick Gitter who led most of this race from the very beginning there. Kenny Hyde Jr. is in the fourth spot. There's Nowski boy. Just hanging out there in fourth. And then we go back to Jason Ricker, who's in fifth. So Jason's just maintaining what he's got. Everybody's just kind of riding around now, probably getting some laps in. There's 28 machine of David Oliver. So he's taking that machine down and around. And then back to our excitement earlier, we had Jeremy Edwards, who was maintained seventh spot. So he did a good job keeping it out of trouble, battling those guys, gave us some nice clean racing out there. And then Chris Lockwood. Chris Lockwood is kind of around some lap traffic here as he gets around there. You see Kevin McCann and Chris Lockwood right now is running in our 8th position. And then we got the 03. Here's Otto Cruz, who you can see those two are kind of battling lap cars and each other at the present moment. So that's what's causing that separation there. And then back in the 10th position is Mr. Pudnowski himself, Matthew Hughes, and he's just out there hanging out watching these guys up front of him. Kind of rolling through. And right behind him in the 89 machine, that's Charles Joplin, who holds down the 11th spot. And then Dean the Weapon Webb in that 7 car. He's currently shown in 12th position. So coming down, 35 laps to go as they're rolling through the field here. Justin Swafford is the next guy in line. He's just hanging out there behind the number 7 machine, just behind Dean Webb, just rolling through this field together, putting some guys a lap down. Next is Blair Patterson. There's Blair. Blair got the Dude Wipes machine out to pay homage to the old Pudnowski video that we have out there. So Blair is now showing in the 14th position. Then we have Anthony Caron, it's Nowski guy. He's showing 1 lap down, I believe, at the present moment. So Anthony Caron. And the 05 machine, PJ Cox. So PJ Cox is the next gentleman that you see out there. He's driving around that 05 machine. Nobody's really pushing the issue at the present moment. They're all just riding and getting some laps in. We got 32. Oh, we got a caution on the field. So let's see what happened here. Chuck McDonald spins into the wall. So they're going through the field. Chuck McDonald there comes out, gets together. Ooh, gets together with Pudnowski. So as they come down, Pudge just comes up, and I'm not sure exactly what that was about. Was it Pudge that went up, or was it Chuck that came down? Huh. Take this back a little bit further. So you have Chuck, who's on the outside, Pudnowski on the inside. Just two guys that met in the middle, it looks like. And then Chuck hits the edge of that one. So well, that's going to shake the field up, that's for sure. As the guys now coming down for the pit stops. With 30 laps to go, so now we know they can make it all the way to the end. They made it a lot further than I would have taken it, but those guys are very brave at the present moment, taking it down. And 30 laps to go, so that's the only pit stop I'm sure we'll see tonight, unless these guys are getting involved in an incident. Looks like there's a little bit of damage to the back of the one car. As you can see from the far chase car there. A little bit of damage to that back right hand side, so I'm not sure if maybe somebody got into the back of them when they were slowing up. Maybe they guys were involved or getting around Pudge and Chuck McDonald incident that last time, and somebody just got into the back of them, but he comes back out. And then our leader right now is Brian McCann. So Brian McCann maintains that top spot with 29 laps to go. You see a couple of guys that are in front of the pace car there. They're behind the pace car. I'm sure they're going to get their wave around. It's the 54 car of Brian Oshel. He was the first car behind the pace car. He's going to get the wave around here, as well as the 3 car of Kevin Bernheimer. So Kevin Bernheimer is another gentleman. They'll get the wave around, and that'll give it right back to Brian McCann. So 28 to go. You're kind of rolling through the field with nothing really happening, and all of a sudden we got a little bit of an incident there. So it's going to tighten up the field a little bit. And so we watch Brian McCann drive around behind the pace car there, and he's got Robert Brill right on his back bumper. So you got Jason Ricker, who's right behind that, who's going to take it. He's in our 3rd spot. So Ricker, so you got TDR, Nowski, TDR, Nowski. So you got Kenny Hyde, Jeremy Edwards in that 4th and 5th spot. And there are those 2 gentlemen from Nowski Nation. So points are a little bit on the tight side right now, looks like. Pretty even field. Look like they're lining up as we're in the David Oliver. It's going to pull up beside Jeremy. Is go 1 lap to green. Pace car lights are out. So rolling around on the backstretch there, and pretty exciting so far. A couple of incidents that have happened. 2 cautions. That's the 2nd caution of the evening. This pace car is going to jump down on pit road right there. Brian McCann gets one heck of a jump there going back to the line. Wow, did he get a jump on the field. So he really jumped out in front of Mr. Brill there, and he's going to extend that lead by at least 4 car lengths going down into turn number 3 as the rest of the field stacks up here in the back. We get a see if there's any action that happens through here. We see Brian rolling down. He's got another car that he's coming up on there. Not sure who he's coming up on, but is that the 04 of Chuck McDonald? So Chuck must have just got came back a little bit late from that pit coming out. So Brian just pulls out to over a 1 second lead, and he is just cruising out there. So he definitely got a good jump on Brill. So Brill, there's the difference that you got going back to the rest of the field there. As you got Ricker that's calling up. There's Jason Ricker's crawling and trying to get back up and fight for that second spot with Robert Brill. You got the 58 car, Kenny Hyde Jr., who's now going to try and go underneath and take that spot from Ricker and put the Nowski boy, another Nowski Nation guys up there, another spot. And then you got the 84, who was battling earlier, gave us a little bit of action there when he was around Jeremy. Trying to get up there, and these guys are going to fight it out again. So once again, you got Jeremy Edwards and Chris Lockwood. Lockwood takes it a little bit high, had to back down. So they fall back in line here, and this is a battle for 5th and 6th. So 5th and 6th, and you got Otto Cruz right there, who's just joining that field. So you got Kenny Hyde, Jeremy Edwards, and Chris Lockwood in this shot right here, followed by Otto Cruz. So they kind of fall back in line. I'm going to ride this out. 20 laps to go. So sorting this out. Getting back onto it, heading back in. Jump back out front with our leader Brian McCann, who's now got just, let's see if we can get a shot here. There's that look from the back rear cam looking to the back through the pit wall. So that camera's that's one camera that we really wanted to see there. So see the field coming down behind them as they cross that start finish line down into turn number 1. This goes around Chuck again, so Chuck must be really having some issues. And now Chuck is going to jump up there and kind of hold up Brill, so that might be a move to watch out for as we... So is Brill going to move Chuck? Chuck is now back up to speed as he gets around, but Ricker is right there, so if he can hold up Brill just enough, Ricker can get around. But nope, Chuck's going to move to the outside. Brill's going to go to the inside, but then Chuck battles back on that inside, so not really sure what's going on there, but it's either Chuck gained his speed back after coming out of pit road and is able to hold these guys off, got a little bit fresher tires, or these guys realize that it's really not for position, so there's no sense in getting too worked up and involved in it. As you got the pressure coming on now from Jason Ricker on to Robert Brill for that third spot with 16 laps to go, so that would be points that would be gained and lost, one of the bigger points battles that we would have up in the front of the field. Oh no, somebody gets turned just a little bit. 16 to go. Got a little bit loose coming off on that shot. It might have been Kenny Hyde, maybe. He's got some damage to the back of his car, so I'm sure he was involved in a little bit of an incident. Said you're gonna touch out here, that's for sure. So thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Go TDR. So yes, go TDR. We got a TDR. Pete, and it looks like they're doing all right out there. So Kenny Hyde has just kind of moved himself around and got himself out of trouble there as they're rolling around here now with Brian McCann holding off 3 second, just about 2.5, almost 3 second lead over Robert Brill. As he's coming up on number 54, Brian Oshel there. Going to put him another lap down right now. He's just 1 lap down, but they're coming back on more lap traffic, so that may bring Robert Brill to him if he gets caught up in some of this traffic. Just trying to take it easy and get through with 13 to go. That's the 04 car back there. That's Chuck McDonald right behind Brian McCann. As you can see, there's 6 laps down, but he was involved in that incident earlier with Pudge Nowski. So Matt Hughes, if we go back to, he was involved in that incident earlier. Now Matt, right now, is still on the lead lap. His car seems to be back underway, so he was able to get in and out no problem. So he's showing in 12th position, 5 seconds behind. So that's where our two were involved in the last incident ended up running at the present moment. So out front with Brian McCann, who takes it to 11 to go this time by. Chuck is really wheeling that car around, just trying to stay ahead back here. And we'll see if Robert can bring it back up and get to him, but there's plenty of room in between Robert and Chuck, so Chuck's wheeling it just to maintain that momentum, but Brian's really got a big lead, as you can see. He's pulled out to just, so it's 2 seconds on the speed chart, but it's a half a straightaway. So given any 10 laps to go this time by, given anything that, I hate to do the announcer's curse, but barring anything that happens, it looks like Brian McCann's going to have a healthy win tonight for TDR, bringing it home in the first position. But we're not going to bring anything until the checkered flag falls. 9 to go this time by. And Brian's just cruising. There's nobody around him, as you can see in that wide shot. He's just coming up on lap traffic here, just trying to mind his P's and Q's and keep it out of there. Keep it out of trouble. Check back on. Here's Kenny Hyde. Here's our 5th spot. Saw him get found as he raced around Jason Ricker. That's 5th and 4th. And there's the difference in between. That's about 6 car lengths in between those two. So you got the car number 54, Brian Oshels, pulling it down. Looks like he's going to either pull into the pit or take himself out of the race for 6 laps to go this time by. Oh, the 05 car is around. That's PJ Cox gets around. No caution, so it must have been a one-guy spin, but we just saw him coming into the picture there, so PJ Cox is going to go a lap down as we jump back up to Ricker, who is chasing down the number 17 truck, or 17 car of Jeremy Edwards. 5 to go this time by. Healthy lead, Brian McCann, just over 3 seconds as you see get underneath Dustin Valdez and put him another lap down. And is now 2 laps down. The next guy or gal that Brian will be looking to put a lap down would be Shanna Harton, but to come up on Blair Patterson here in the 24 car, I'm sorry. Oh no, that's Shanna Harton. Shanna Harton's in the 24. So Shanna's also running the Dude Wipes car, so alrighty then. Kind of got me confused with Blair Patterson. Those two are running the same scheme. So Shannon now goes 2 laps down. She has some damage to her Xfinity car there, Mustang. So put the 3 car lap down. So 3 laps to go. No cautions. Huge lead over Robert Brill. And there's the difference in between the number 1 and number 2 spot with 2 laps to go. So you get a shot as we take Brian McCann down here for 2 laps, and he's got just a straightaway lead in between that 1st and 2nd spot. So he's really got this one under control tonight. It's going to be Brian McCann bringing it down for the last lap of the race. And there's the 2nd spot just coming into your picture now as he takes it down one last time down the back stretch. In the turn number 3. Nice and easy, nice and smooth. Brian McCann is going to be your winner of tonight's TDR Pudge Nowski winner. So Brian McCann brings home the win for TDR. Robert Brill brings it home 2nd, who's Nowski. And then you got 3rd spot of Jeremy Edwards in 3rd. Jason Ricker 4th. He was a TDR guy. David Oliver in the 28 machine. Another TDR guy. So you have a mixture there in the top 5. Kenny Hyde brings it home in the Nowski Nation in the 6th spot. And then the man who led earlier and sat on the payroll or on the pole position, that was Patrick Gitter there in the 21 machine. Looks like the Nowski boys are looking like they're winning and they're bringing it down here to burn it down on the front. So they must have gotten the points victory tonight, as we saw. You see the guys burning it down up in the front here. There's Steele that comes in and runs right in the front. Oh, kind of a demolition derby as they're out there burning it down right now. Whew, what a race.
Yeah, it was a fun race, Jay.
Hi, how are you?
You're good. How'd you do up here down in the booth?
I hope I did great. I mean, we're just trying to call the race. There was a lot of exciting action out there. I saw you went a couple laps down. How was your race for you?
I was actually trying to save tires. I was hoping for that long run, maybe have the leaders pit, maybe get the lap back and get positions by attrition. Not a big fan of Richmond, never really have been. I mean, I like the Xfinity car. Fun race. Just didn't play out like I wanted it to, and it happens, I mean, it is what it is in the end.
Right, yeah. I've been trying to look and go through the field here and see who had what and when and where, and it looked like the Pudnowski boys were burning it down. So I guess they took a point lead tonight, from what I'm gathering there. Because
That's what we're saying up top too. Jeremy's actually going to throw points together quick, because I wanted to get down and join you down here. Looks like, I think the way it sounded, we had 5 in the TDR, had 5 in the top 17. So yeah, we were all pretty much in the back. Guessing TDR is going to take the point, or Pudnowski will take the points lead. We'll have to fight back in the end.
All right.
Next few weeks.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we can do. I mean, there's nothing more you can do at that point, right?
Right.
So as we come over to our Sunny South Raceway Victory Lane, do we saw Brian McCann, or did they leave for the evening?
Brian McCann is in Racecom 1. I can bring him down. His mic's muted. We'll see if we can get him in.
Sure, he's a race winner. Let's bring him down. See if we can talk to him and get a take on his race. He had a dominant Fiat car tonight, so.
Hey, Brian, this is Dustin in the booth. You got a read on me?
Hey, I do. How's it going?
Not too bad. Good race tonight. You got the win. You didn't qualify. I think that was a strategy. I don't know if you had that strategy or.
Well, you can call it that, but the truth is I messed up both laps, so I started.
Oh, okay. Oh, you started back by me. It was kind of I was like, what's Brian doing back there? We're sitting here like, is he not qualifying? Maybe whatever. And then you fought your way back up through that field pretty good from what I saw anyway.
Yeah, I think it started snowing there doing qualifying. I couldn't keep the car on the track.
Well, I'll tell you what, from up here, you really ran solidly through the field, kept your nose clean the entire way, gave us a lot of good shots for racing. Congratulations on the win and the Sunny South Raceway Victory Lane tonight, bringing it home. And you led by a mile there at the end. I mean, there was no competition for you. I know you said it was a little bit loose. We saw a lot of guys get loose. Were you feeling loose out there tonight, or were you able to, after a few laps, the car kind of settled in?
It was a little funny how you had to drive it on entry. You had to really almost slide it in and save that right front, and that was what was important here. And because the track was getting tighter, and but coming off, if you had your balance like that, you could get a little loose, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked good, and congratulations on their win for TDR. But it looks like the Nowski Nation boys pulled out the points on the team event. But good drive. Good to see you out here. I mean, we don't really see you out here too much. Good to talk to you up here in the booth and get your take on some things and how your feelings going into the next few weeks. Are you got any big races planned? Are you going to do the 24 hours, or have you thought about anything?
We got a team together to do the 24-hour race. It's going to be my first endurance. That's going to be interesting. But tonight, that was a fun race tonight. Everybody was clean that I drove around, and a lot of good competition out here.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seemed like it was a very clean race. Considering we've had a few that weren't so clean, but everything looked pretty clean out there tonight. Just a couple of racing incidents. So, is that what you were seeing as well?
Yep, and thank you for broadcasting too.
Oh, well, not a problem. Like I said, I was up here in the booth, so if you go back and watch, you might want to turn the volume down and just watch the racing action, because I probably spoke more volume than I did. So, but congratulations once again. We're going to let you get back down there with the group and celebrate the win, and we're going to talk to a couple other guys and before we head out of here. So have a good night.
All right, thank you. Too.
Have a good night, Brian.
See you.
All right, so Brian seemed to be pretty excited about that. I think we still got Pudge in here, and if he's available, we can bring him down and talk to him, get his take on some things.
Yeah, I'll grab Pudge quick. Hey, Pudge, this is Dustin in the booth. You got a read on me?
Hey, what's up, bud?
Not too bad, you?
Oh man, not a whole lot sweating.
That was a fun race. I was involved in it. I came down and joined Jay in the booth, but a lot of clean racing out there. Pretty sure Pudge is going to take the points in the lead. How do you guys feel about that?
Man, it feels pretty good. I mean, that was a heck of a race out there between everybody, and like we ran a race there earlier in the year, just Nowski guys, and we had like 50 cautions. So I'm just happy that everybody ran the way they did, and if we got the lead after that, man, I just got to thank my guys. They practice day in and day out, and they're always doing something to get better. So I just got to thank them. But it's going to come down to the wire at Daytona. I already know it.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, Daytona is always the wild card in the end, and you were talking about how many cautions. We were actually talking in our Discord that what's the over under on how many caution laps we'll run. We're like 50, 60, and it was a clean race. It was a fun, watching everybody practice. Everybody was coming out of turns and spinning.
Yeah.
It was a wild card race and it was a fun race. Jay, I'll let you take over the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you up here, Pudge.
What's up, my brother?
Yeah, good points battle back there. You guys really put yourselves in a great position at the end. The only problem that I saw out there is you got into Chuck McDonald at one point. It looked like it was just he was coming down and you were coming up. Is that what you were seeing, or did you not see him?
Yeah, we went back and watched it, and that's what it was. I mean, I probably came up more than I should have, but he was coming down too, and it was just a racing incident. And I think there was some confrontation about that caution that was thrown for that too. But I mean, it was a good race though. I mean, Chuck was doing good out there, and he was holding me off on them old tires. He had old tires, and it was a battle there for a minute.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I was just making sure because, we got a few little angles on it and it just looked like you guys are going for the same spot of real estate there. No big deal, but congratulations once again for your team and everybody racing. I mean, it was a fairly clean race. It's first of all, it's Richmond, so you're going to get run into somewhere out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a short track. You can't avoid that. But so what are you looking forward to going into the next couple of races? I mean, you got a good position going in, or your team all
Yeah,
settled?
man. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, those last two races of this series is going to be anybody's race for sure. Because super late models at Kentucky, I believe, and then trucks at Daytona, it's going to be a wild card for sure.
Oh,
But I don't want it any other way. I like it like that.
right. Well, it's good to see these guys out there and battling hard and, coming up here and, we're talking to you and having a good time once again. And it's great to see all that and everybody, the team's getting back together and having such a good time. So, want to bring everybody together and say thank you to everybody on both teams for doing that, for putting on a show and making it as clean and fun as it is to watch. So,
Yeah, definitely, buddy. And I thank you guys for letting us run with you and everything y'all stand for. But appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. God bless you.
you as well.
Have a good night, Budge.
So,
Yeah, he's pretty pumped. I mean, like you said, I mean, it was such a clean race and it was a fun race. I mean, I think everybody had a good time out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everybody had fun. It sounded like you had fun, even though we saw your car got a little bit tore up there. And but it is what it is, and it's Richmond. Like I said, you're going to run into somebody eventually out there, no matter where you're at, whether it's getting out of somebody's way or trying to stay out of somebody's way. But overall, I think it was pretty clean. It was a fun race to watch, a fun race to call. I'm glad you joined me up here for the post-race interviews. Um, I think we pretty much covered everything that we need to cover for this one here. So if you have anybody else you want to talk to, I see most of the guys are pretty much, checking out and going back and enjoying their thing. I know we have to talk to Jeremy, so and he was doing the points. Maybe bring Jeremy down here and see if we can't pull him up and see if he's got any update on the points, maybe.
For some reason, I cannot pull Jeremy down in the booth. I don't know why I can't pull him down. Maybe you can. I don't have a role for him. Or I can't move him.
Nope, I can't. Nope. So it looks like Jeremy's going to stay up where he's at and do the points ladle. But I guess we're going to have to update that either on Facebook or in one of the. Maybe by next broadcast we'll definitely have a points where everything shakes out. But right now it does look like Nowski did edge out TDR.
I just did get a message from Jeremy. Points tonight were 541 Pudge, 464 for TDR. We lost by 77.
Oh, that's going to put a huge dent.
I will do a quick math and figure out what the total points are for the fans out in the YouTube world.
Right. We thank everybody for watching out there tonight and putting up with just me calling it. That's kind of unusual, but hopefully I kept it entertaining and called it all for you guys. So, Janelle, thank you for being out there. And P. Robert Trask, Cochran, thank you. Appreciate that. Robert Cochran's out there. He's been supporting us. Pete and Robert Trask, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Brad Hunt, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate that. So, we are trying to get a final tally here, and as that happens, you can see Brian McCann brings it home first, Robert Brill second, Jeremy Edwards, who showed a lot of action tonight, did bring home third, so that was a good run for him. Jason Ricker came home fourth. David Oliver fifth. Kenny Hyde Jr. sixth. Patrick Gitter seventh. Chris Lockwood eighth. Otto Cruz ninth. 10th was Justin Swafford. Charles Joplin in 11th position, and he brings that around for Matthew Hughes, Dean Webb, Blair Patterson, Anthony Karen, Thomas Rule, Kevin Bernheimer, Kevin DeYoung. As we roll back through, Eric Sellers 19th, PJ Cox 20th, who got involved in a late incident. David Trumbley, Eric Steele, Shanna Harton, Dustin Valdez, Justin Shelton, and Brian Oshel, Chuck McDonald, Kevin McCann, Jeffrey McConey, and rounding out our field in the 20s, Jordan Sims in the 30th position. So that rounds out your field tonight as we await the math coming down. The math guy is here. Thank you.
The total points are now Pudge 49.83, TDR 49.31. So about 52 points.
Okay, so there's room for TDR to bounce back. It's still a close race. It's not like it's over by any means, but Puchnowski did gain a few in the last couple.
Yeah, I mean, like Pudge said it, the last two races, when you take the super late models at Kentucky, I believe it is, that's a wild card race. And then the trucks at Daytona, as we all know, is always a wild card race, and you just never know what's going to happen. That pack racing comes into play, and both these teams put out a great show at the super speedway. It should be a fun, interesting 2 weeks.
Absolutely. So as we roll into the coming up on a couple of last weeks here of the TDR Nowski Nation series, it's going to be a very tight points race. Just over 53 points separate TDR from Puchnowski, with Puchnowski having the lead. So Nowski Nation came back from a little over, just about a 100-point deficit to now lead by 50. So it's going to be tight going in the last two. So TDR boys need to step it up if they want a shot at this thing. And it's all going to wrap up in Daytona. So that ought to be fun. So anything else you want to bring up tonight, Dustin? Little information from the track before I wrap this up?
I think we're good. I just want to thank you for doing what you did up here tonight, handling the race. I think everybody enjoys having the broadcasts, and just thanks everybody for coming out watching, and we'll see you. And I believe our next broadcast would probably be Monday night for the vets.
Yes, Monday night Vets League, right back here at Back Sports Channel. So we will see you on Monday for the vets, and see you in a couple of weeks for the Nowski Nation boys versus TDR. From myself and Dustin up here in the booth from Richmond, Virginia, we thank you for tuning in. Have a good night, everybody.